Jessica Jones episode 10, aka 1000 Cuts. Now, this was a pretty crazy episode. There were a lot of things that were just insane. I mean, literally 3 people died in this episode that I did not expect to die. First off, we have the cop who gets killed by Simpson, who I didn't talk about this in my review because I was kind of shooting through stuff, and admittedly I forgot he even took those drugs. But he has whatever these red pills are. He took 2 in the other episode because it's like, oh, we regulated stuff clearly for a good reason. 1 red and then the other ones to kind of mellow you out. And he took the red that kind of amped him up, and then he took 2 more. And now it's like he is far beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. I never would have expected him to be like so insane. Like, he killed the guy. It completely shocked me because he already had the gun to him, and then he's like, you know what, I'm freaking out, like, ever since Killgrave, I can't trust anyone. And it's like, he is so dangerous. And then he gets the info, and he actually kills him. And honestly, I have no idea why he did it, because it has nothing to do with, like, oh, he's helping Killgrave or any of that crap. And I guess it's just the fact that he was in his way, like, oh, we have to kill him, because that's been his sole drive from the beginning. Like, we can't, there's no justice or whatever for this. We have to just kill him. And that's all there is to it. And I guess maybe there will be some sort of camaraderie now, because Hope ends up killing herself at the end just so that Jessica has no more leverage placed against her. So now that Hope is gone, she can actually kill Killgrave. And that's all there is to it. She can just kill him, and that's it. And that really sucks that that's the way it had to happen, or at least that she felt that that's the way it had to happen. But that was a crazy ending scene, and then Jessica has to save, one person that mattered. The other 3 people I kind of couldn't let go. I understand why they went with the woman. I can't even think of her name. I don't even like her, honestly. I just hate her. But Ruben's sister, they made her unlikable from the beginning for a reason, and even when she kind of had a sliver of hope where it's like, I understand why she was hurt. And honestly, that was like the one time, there were a couple of times, because of course she didn't know what was happening, but when she heard what Malcolm said, I felt bad. And I felt bad when Malcolm was talking to Jessica earlier on when they were doing the flyers and stuff. And it was like, I felt bad, and she instantly changed that back to, I kind of don't like her now, because instead of accepting the fact that this is a person that makes people do whatever they want just by talking to them, it's like she just didn't give a crap. It was like, nope, it's Jessica's fault that it happened. And it's like, it's like something that's constantly repeating in the show, and it's that Jessica is constantly blamed as the problem when it's other people. It's always been somebody else that actually did it. And in this case, it was Killgrave. She was blamed for the stuff with the Avengers. She's blamed for pretty much all the murders for Killgrave. It's like, it's all her fault. Even the simple stuff, like in the first episode, like just doing her job, she's the one who gets blamed. And it's just simple little stuff. And it's always, they always take it back to like, oh, it's Jessica's fault. And I don't know if Malcolm could have really said anything. I mean, they all, the 2 guys that actually help her, is like, they knew what happened. Like, Killgrave says something, you do it. There is no other way around it. And I understood, like, the father meant, like, all this talking does nothing. But Jessica holding out is like, okay, like, not like they could have done anything, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. The trendy guy, I love that she did say that, though. Like, she said everyone's name, and she's like, trendy guy? Like, that was pretty much it. I thought that was pretty funny. But it was like she instantly just made an issue out of it, of course. They go in. Malcolm does everything he can to try to get there before them, but of course that doesn't end up working. And Jessica gets knocked out. The girl, she lets Killgrave free, and he takes all 4 of them. He leaves Jessica because he still wants to play his game, because he could have done whatever he wanted while she was unconscious. But instead, he takes the 4 of them and leaves her on the floor, and he goes to take Hope. And he just sets up his little thing at the end. And unfortunately, a big reveal that comes out is the fact that Killgrave doesn't actually have powers. It's that he's kind of a virus, which I thought was a very interesting concept for his abilities. He's not actually superhuman. He he's like the living form of a virus. And I thought that was actually pretty sweet because they can actually find a cure for his abilities. And I was like, that's kind of awesome. And they talk about, there was a lot of great stuff in this episode. We got the flashbacks for when they're in the office, and he's like, oh, for 18 seconds, you did care. And then she told him everything else, and it's like, for those, I remember everything that happened right there, and I wanted to get out. I just wasn't fast enough. And then that kind of ended everything, and she was just sucked right back in. And I love that. It was a great little moment for her character, where it was like she had freedom, but she lost it because she, like she said, she couldn't actually think like she normally would, and she just wasn't fast enough. She was caught in her own mind of what it would be like to escape, and she felt to do it. So I love that moment. Of course, the reveal of the whole virus thing was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the cure doesn't work. Trish may or may not think of something and kind of find an actual cure, which I think would be interesting. But, that was just something. I was hoping the dad was like faking it, and I thought what he was going to try to do at least was act like he was being taken over, and then he was going to try to stab Killgrave, and then it just wouldn't work. That's what I figured was going to happen. Unfortunately, the virus itself, or the cure for the virus, just completely failed. Unless it didn't, and they're holding that off until the next episode. But the beginning of this was pretty insane too. Like, the other really crazy death is just like, we find out also that this was all Jerry's fault, that the two moments that they kind of showed us weren't them messing around. Like, she didn't let him out, but she did cut the wire so that he could escape and that everything could go nuts. And she felt bad, and it's like, oh, she did that so that she could get the divorce papers. And of course, there was murder and mayhem, and that's not what she was expecting. And then, of course, Killgrave was like, I don't give a crap. If you want revenge by 1,000 cuts, go ahead. And she has to watch her ex-wife get killed by her current girlfriend. And Jerry had an insanely Killgrave moment when she said exactly what he kept saying to Jessica, like, oh, I didn't make you do that. Like, you were the one that chose to pick up that thing and hit her in the head. And it was like, that is the most, like, I mean, with Killgrave being who he is, if you say anything that's what he said in the past, in a previous episode, or anything like that, it makes you one of the most evil people ever. And that's what Jerry is now, because it's like, I didn't make you do that. And it's like, she saved your life. You're literally getting slashed up. And for her, it's just like, I didn't make you do that. You're the one that picked it up and killed her. And it's just like, wow, that was what she decided to go with. That was the thought process in her mind, to say, you know what, you did this, not me. And it was just like, I can't believe she actually said that. And it was kind of crazy. Like, she saved her life, and she caused all these issues. Like Jessica said, like, what happened in the room was self-defense, but what Jerry actually did, that was murder. And it was just crazy to watch. And I don't know what's really going to happen afterwards. But I don't know. Like, they're just split up. I'm assuming they're still going to have a role in the next couple episodes. But it was just a crazy start to just an insane episode all around, to be totally honest. It was just a crazy episode. A lot of shock value. We do find out what happened with the undead fetus, though. And Jerry does say that she kept it so that she could try to see if Killgrave's powers could be replicated. And it did not work. And maybe that's because of the fact that it's a virus, so that wouldn't, the virus wouldn't exactly just translate it. I mean, it's a virus, you kind of think it would, but it didn't. So it just didn't work, and that's all there is to that. But I don't know what role they're going to have in these last 3 episodes, but they're in a very interesting position at this point. I'm sure it'll be fine, and they'll just be like a natural cover-up. But they're going to get out of this, and, the season will end. I don't know where they could take these 2 characters for season 2, because it's like they're in such a weird position from where they started, where it's like, oh, we're just working with Jessica. And then Jerry's drive to, get the whole divorce settled led to, just the chaos of this last episode. And who knows what would have happened if Simpson went to them and it was like everything, he was actually still in there who knows what would have taken place. I'm sure they probably would have been able to stop him, but I just don't know. Like, it was just crazy what he did, and then he was kind of going nuts when he found out that the doctor was actually Killgrave's dad. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. I'm sure he'll still be arguing with Jessica, but and now the argument might be who gets to kill him. I don't know. Like, he's just lost it, and I think that's something that they might touch on in season 2. I don't think they're going to just end this thing with him and these pills and whatever this weird, like, super secret spec ops stuff that he's involved in. I think that's going to be some season 2 type stuff if he doesn't get himself killed in these next couple episodes, because he's going insane. And it's like, oh, you know, like I said, now at this point, the goal is to kill him, to kill Killgrave, but I don't know, maybe he's just too far. He might be angry that they switched at the last minute. Who knows? He's on like some insane super... Honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, I'm just going to throw out a crazy theory that this is most likely involved with this super soldier serum, because everything in the Marvel Universe is. It's like, if there's something that makes you better, it's probably some form of the super soldier serum that isn't good enough to make you Captain America. Because that's what it always is, always has been, and always will be, the super soldier serum. Period. That's just what it is. Probably has nothing to do with that, but it probably does, because it's just a random thing that makes people kind of tougher. Like, he's insanely messed up, but he's just like, I feel fine. You know, he took 3 little pills after an explosion, which he was like 5 feet away from, and he's just up and walking around. He was almost dead in Trish's car. He was like, I thought he was gonna die, to be totally honest, because he was breathing, and it was just like, like he could barely speak, and he's just up and walking around, shooting people in the head and torching places, and he's just insane. And to be totally honest, when he went to the detective, I thought that after he killed him, that somehow Killgrave, it completely left my mind, the whole 12-hour thing. I was just like, he's in like some sort of crazy long game or something where Killgrave had all these different layers, and it just left my mind. I was like, that has to be the answer, but he's just insane at this point, and I don't know what he's gonna become if he doesn't die in these next couple episodes. I don't know if he'll end up being a villain, but if he lives, I think he will be. He'll be in whatever random group this is. They might end up just being bad. I doubt it'll be... I didn't even think of this until just now, but I highly doubt it will end up being Hydra. But that would be very interesting if that's how they played that with Jessica Jones Season 2, and they kind of incorporated Hydra. But I don't know. Like, they give him a whole super evil villain scene for sure after he kills the detective, and he torches the place, and it's the fire, and it starts off where you can't see his face until he gets under that light. But I don't know, it just blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe he actually just killed that guy. And especially after he got the information, because he'd already seemingly calmed down and was like, I'm sorry, I don't need a gun for a cure and everything. And so he got the information, and then it was just like, alright, boom, and he just killed the guy. That just shocked me. And it did destroy all the evidence, which, if that wasn't how they were taking things anyway, they would have really been screwed. So ultimately it kind of works out, just for writing, obviously. That's why they made it work. But I love this episode. Really looking forward to these last few. Only 3 more left, and I can't wait to see how they do it. But of course, want to know what you guys thought about this one, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And honestly, I want to know what you think about both Jerry and Simpson in this episode. Because Killgrave, he just did his thing. He's a bad guy. He did his thing. Simpson killed a guy who was just like, oh, justice. Let's not kill him. Let's, send him to court, which I do understand. That's like the one thing where it's like, that just doesn't work. Like, you can't just send this guy who can say whatever and poof, answers. Or, make a demand and it happens instantly. Can't exactly take that guy to court. That's the only thing they don't specify, but they could have figured that out. And he's just like, oh, that's not gonna work. Gotta kill you now. So I would know what you guys thought about him. And of course, Jerry helping out Killgrave in this episode, or technically in the last episode, I guess. But it's just crazy for both of them. It's just insane. So I don't know. They just might officially be two villains for season 2 at this point, to be totally honest. But I want to know what you guys think, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.